everyone, happy Friday. I decided to do a all things Jonah sermon notes video for you guys because my church just did all of Jonah, and so I decided to go over the ones that I took with y'all. So let's get started. I will be doing all 4 chapters, by the way. So here is Jonah chapter 1. Jonah was thought of as a reluctant prophet, but he was really a missionary. Jonah and the crewmates really encouraged Jesus. They also greatly feared the Lord. Disobeying God can have negative consequences. God actively finds ways to bring us back into obedience and centers us in His will. We don't read the Bible just for knowledge, but we also read it for wisdom. Jonah is the disobedient of God's will. Jonah did not embody the love of Christ, which is our 2024 church theme, embodying the love of Christ. God is our GPS as long as we have faith, which is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. By the way, if you guys hear kids running around or like piano faintly playing in the background, I'm actually in the children's worship room at my church. And so that is where I am filming this video currently. And the last Jonah chapter 1 note that I have is that He is our cornerstone. Moving on to Jonah chapter 2. Speaker was my absolute favorite deacon ever. We need to rely upon the character of God and not our own. Location of the sermon was the Assyrian empires. Pray with repentance and praises. They took people and dispersed them. Prayer is a two-way street of worship. Main character of chapter 1 traveled to Nineveh to spread the prophecy. Do not deserve His goodness. Respond, obey, and trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. Biblical thanksgiving is giving thanks in all circumstances, which is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 16 through 18. Isaiah and Jeremiah despised worshiping worldly idols. Prayer is the way where you can soak in His goodness with Him. He answers in mercy for the merciful. Always pray for the restoration, especially if we have sinned. The only place you can pray is the Holy Temple. We are taught to always be thankful, which can be found again in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 16 through 18. Verse 10 of chapter 2 is very anticlimactic, for it talks about vomiting fish, because Jonah chapter 2 is actually called Prayer in the Belly of a Fish. At least that's what my deacon called it. God is accessible, for He is not far off and distant. Instead, He is near. He enters despite guilt and judgment. Sorry guys, bumped the desk that I'm doing this on. Also, this is my script, and this is what I've been reading off of. He answers and delivers us from what we think is impossible, even if we think we may be unworthy or undeserving. Moving on to Jonah chapter 3. Jonah is a book about second chances. The fish in chapter 2 was the means by which he got a second chance. Nineveh was a city in which it would take 3 days to go through, and these 3 days could be interpreted as the time that Jonah needed to get through the city. In Hebrew, Jonah's message was a very short 5 words. In 40 days or less, Nineveh will be overturned. The response to the message was the biggest thing in the story, which was that the king did the same, and there was repentance. Jonah was not motivated to do his job, but he was still used. Do not underestimate who or what God can use. Obey God's leading and allow Him to use you in big and small ways. Moving on to Jonah chapter 4. For Jonah chapter 4, there's a non-obvious section and an obvious section. Most of it is the obvious, so I will be starting off with that. God can be destructive. God is loving, compassionate, and patient. God is the giver of life, which in this case was the principle that was being taught. God has the right to take anyone's life, not just yours. Because Jonah proclaimed God's message, the whole nation of Nineveh was saved by utter destruction. Those who invest in a person of a nation has the right to be angry when expectations are unmet. Ignorance of God should be corrected by the preaching and teaching of the Bible. The principle relates to our current ecosystem. Seeds of the City is not limited to people, but includes all living things. The non-obvious is that God is the giver and taker of life, and Jonah wanted to destroy Nineveh. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all next week. Bye!